Welcome to Investible Partnerships, where we talk to industry leaders about growing revenue-generating partnerships. I'm your host, Des Russell, and co-founder of Partner Elevate. And the daily battle for partner success is forcing channel leaders to rethink how to maximize their relevance and value so they can be a driver of partner impact. So let's jump in and find out how. Hey everybody, it's Des Russell, Chief Partnership Officer at Partner Elevate and also your host of the Investible Partnerships Podcast. I'm super excited today for two reasons. The first reason is it's our first podcast of the Investible Partnerships podcast series. So super excited, super nervous, but also at the same time, I'm just so grateful that I've got the opportunity to kick something off like this in the partnerships universe. The second thing that I'm really excited about is I get to break the ground with Kelly Griffin from Amazon Web Services. So Kelly, why don't you give us an opportunity to understand a little bit more about who you are, your role at Amazon, and a little bit of your background, how you got into partnerships. I always think the way people get into partnerships is kind of a great story on its own. So over to you.
Yeah, sure. First and foremost, congrats on kicking this off as well. Man, it's an awesome feat kicking off a podcast. So, mate, I can't wait to see where this goes. And again, mate, thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it. It's an absolute privilege. So yeah, a bit of background on me. I've been in the industry and channel, I suppose, now for over 20 years, probably 26 years thereabouts. So definitely showing my age. I got into partnerships when I've been in the channel or in sort of vendor / channel land, pretty much my whole career. So for me, working inside the channel is just been a natural thing, and moving into my role within AWS has just been this natural progression of where I want my career to go, and where I'm hoping that my career is going to continue on inside the world of partnerships. So within Amazon, I am a what they call a senior partner sales manager. So what that means is I get to work with our sales teams and our partners, driving customer outcomes. So I make sure that whatever our sales teams are doing, whatever they're talking to their customers about, I'm making sure that there's a partner that's aligned to that particular customer outcome, and making sure that the right partner for the right outcome is chosen, right? So by that, I mean, looking at culture fit, cost fit, solution fit, do they have capability? Do they have the experience? Does the value prop match up, and things like that? Conversely, I sort of get to also work with a lot of our partners around solution and value definition, which is really exciting. So, I'm sort of that custodian, if you like, around partner pipeline and driving that. So moving towards co-solving solution or problems for customers instead of that whole co-sell motion across multiple different types of partners, SIs and ISVs. So lots of fun, lots of hard work, but we get to be immersed in some amazing partners in the ecosystem.
If anyone wanted a definition of partnerships, that's probably a really strong definition of partnerships, which is it's everything. It's a bit of this, it's a bit of that, but there's a lot of things that go on there. And I think that, when I spent 7 years at Microsoft, and so you're also thinking, building, working with partners and growing partners that, it's not really just I select a partner or work with a partner. You're thinking about a lot of things outside of just the partner conversation, particularly the customer. Why do you think the customer conversation is so important? Or why do you think aligning that customer outcome is so important when you engage in a partner?
Oh, it's absolutely necessary, right? Because if you think about that customer outcome is kind of the flagship. That's the thing that they're trying to do. Now that outcome could be driving new business revenue. It could be customer acquisition, whatever it is. That's really meaningful for their business. So what you want to be able to do, and what I try and do as well, and like the stuff that we massively try and do every single day, is go that outcome that they're trying to deliver. How do I accelerate that outcome? Because if I can accelerate that outcome through a partner engagement, it means that whatever that business metric or KPI that they're trying to drive towards, or that
Yeah.
thing that they're doing, gets done faster, right? And it's going to
Yeah.
be meaningful for their business. So I want to make sure that the value that comes from a partner being included and executing that particular outcome or that challenge or whatever that customer's doing absolutely matches, and making sure that yes, I know for a fact that that partner that we're putting inside that in front of that customer is trusted, it's got the experience, it's got the exposure, it's got the right value prop, but it's also meaningful back to the partner as well, right? So it's helping their growth, it's helping their partnership, it's aligned to their business goals as well. So trying to do uh, mutual success more than anything else.
I think every partnership leader, the way I think about it is every partnership leader knows that not all partnerships will succeed, right?
Hmm.
But what every partnership leader wants is a investable partnership, a partnership that they can invest time, energy, and resources in. When I think about investable partnerships, I think about it's all about trying to maximize your relevance and your value. So,
Hmm.
how would you describe, given that this is a podcast about investable partnerships, how would you describe, in your words, or how would you define or describe what an investable partnership is for you?
So for me, there's probably a couple of different areas that I look at in terms of that, and you've hit the nail on the head, right? Joint partnerships, because some are going to be beneficial and equal, and that's what we're looking for. Is where is it equally beneficial, right? So that investable component to me means that we're working together towards like mutually beneficial outcomes, right?
Yeah,
So the vendor has very specific goals that they're driving towards, right? And depending on who you talk to inside the vendor, right? If I talk to a salesperson, I know exactly what their goals are. If I
yeah,
talk to our partner team, I know exactly what their goals are, and so on and so forth. It's got to be the same from a partner, right? So we have to have a very clear understanding around what their goals and what their drivers are, and what their growth and go to market capability is, and what they're trying to do as well. Because I want to make sure that if they're aligned to the things that we're doing as well, that's absolutely mutually beneficial. But I also want to support some of their areas as well. So when I think about investing into a partner, I'm going, right, where do you want to grow? What do you want to do? What does your go to market look like? How do we
mm,
maturize that? Where's your gaps? What can't you do today that you want to be able to do tomorrow? How can I help? Because if
yeah,
I can then help and then provide input from our side and go, well, here's a whole bunch of data points of an area where I believe you've got skills in, you should invest in this area here. And then I'm going to help you with a go to market approach to be able to, leverage us as a vendor of choice or as a sales motion to be able to target more customers. So again, that's mutually beneficial as well. Value prop as well is huge. And I know you and I have spoken about that a couple of times in the past around defining what a value prop is, right? So in my mind, you don't want to be that partner that says we do all the things, and you don't want to come out and go, well, but our value prop is, well, we've got skills. We've got people that have
yeah,
got skills. No offense, everyone does, and everyone's going to say the same thing. So that's
yeah,
where again, investing in how you talk and how you communicate to a particular vendor, whether that be us, whether that be Microsoft, Google, it doesn't matter. We have a very particular way of communicating, and again, investing in that and understanding how you communicate together, how you go to market together, how you co-solve together. That to me is what investable partnerships mean, because you're going to get benefit out of it both ways.
yeah. So, this is an interesting point. Is how do you think when partners show up for you? What does a good partner showing up in front of you look like, and what does a bad partner showing up in front of you. And I don't want to use these, we use these words, good and bad partners, investable
Mm.
or not investable partners. But actually, when a partner shows up for you,
Yeah.
what are the things you look for that give you the aha? They're clear on their value prop. Like, what does that look like for you or feel like for you as a partner manager?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I love the analogy, good and bad. I probably go, this is what good looks like, and here's what
Yep.
probably an immature thing looks like,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
In what we see as well, because it's just something that like you need to maturize as a partner, as you build your business and as you build your practices, to be able to have that communication strategy with your particular vendor that you're working with, right?
Yep.
So for us, like for me, when I look at a partner and I go, wow, they know what they're doing, they've got a very clear value prop in certain aspects. They have very, very clear understanding around how they go to market and how they communicate to customers, right? So they've got products and that could be an SI partner, for example, like a services partner, like or a consulting partner. You're still selling products, right? You still
Yep.
got something that you're selling, and same as an ISV, they're very different. But the motion of understanding your capability, how you differentiate yourself, differentiation is key in all of this as well. So that goes down to value prop and differentiation. But if you can articulate how you differentiate yourselves, and again, differentiation isn't, oh, we've got skilled people, or, and I've heard this numerous times from other partners, oh, we do migrations. It's like, uh-huh, awesome. So does
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
How do
I
you do
think
it
you and
better
I,
and differently?
Yeah, you and I had this conversation on LinkedIn with, there was a couple of posts that Asha from Partnership Leaders posted.
Yeah.
And it was like I'm different, but why are you different? And I think you kind of had this long post of like, I just can't have another conversation of someone telling me that they're different because they've got a particular skill set or technical skill sets alone.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Differentiation isn't you've got skill set or you've got a competency from a vendor or something like that. It's a point of differentiation, but it's
Yeah,
becoming almost saturated now where, you've got partners that tick a couple of boxes. The differentiation comes where how do you articulate what customers get from you, right? So, and the way I sort of frame that is, explain to me, why did a customer choose you, right? What was the key point, and be
yeah,
really specific. Why did they choose you? And not only that, what can they do now because you were there? That's differentiation. That's value, right? You
yeah.
provided value for that customer. If it's security, if it's IRAP, if it's, some form of compliance, whatever the case may be, there's differentiation in that. You've just got to be really crystal clear around what that is, because yeah, the amount of the last thing you want to do, and talking inside, like coming to a vendor, for example, or going to a different partner and saying we do all the things, you're going to get a blank look. Unfortunately, it's just not
Yeah,
not a great conversation to have.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And like for you, if you had to put a scale of 1 to 10, and you had to say how good are partners at nailing that value prop that is outcome focused for the particular customer, on
It's key.
average, where would you say partners kind of are in that 1 to 10? One being no idea, 10 being the absolutely clear and articulated.
There's ranges. Like I
Mm,
speak to some really great partners that I would say are about the 8 or 9. It's like, oh, we
yeah,
could get it just a little bit better. But then I'm
yeah,
speaking to some partners that are 2 or 3. They are the ones
yeah,
that go, but we've got skilled people and we've got, we do migrations or we do data. It's like, no.
yeah,
I get that
yeah,
you do,
exactly.
fantastic, but no.
I think it's the point of differentiation is how do you differentiate not only within your own business but within the segment that you kind of are
Exactly.
focused on as well. For me, I use these two words: relevance and value. If someone's differentiated, they have a lot more relevance with their target market and they offer a lot more value to that
Hmm.
particular target market. How do you think, from a partner point of view, partners engaging with Amazon, and you and your team, how do you think they look at relevance and value? And how do partners maximize that relevance and value? Is it first having being clear on understanding how Amazon and the Amazon strategy or the Amazon go to market or what your business focus is? Is it more about that to have relevance for you, or is it more about them being super clear on their target market first?
Ooh, it's a bit of both, really, because like if I
Okay.
give you a background on the Amazon, how we're sort of segmented in AWS, we are very much industry focused, right? And we've got specific segments as well. So that's where relevance comes in. There's certain partners that go, we don't operate in certain areas or certain industries or certain segments, but we do focus in this particular segment. So our SMB business, for example, we've got a number of partners that go, we only operate in SMB because we understand SMB, e.g., relevance.
Yeah,
We
they've got a
know and we can
focus.
empathize. They got
Yeah,
very clear focus. That's
yeah,
brilliant because then we know, okay, excellent. Do you understand? And then we work backwards with them to go, do you understand the challenges? Or here's our challenges that we see from the SMB market. And here's how we'd love you to be able to help. So again, that's where relevance and value come from. So we
yeah,
provide that insight back and go, we have all of these challenges. There's like 4 key challenges within the SMB business, for example, across ANZ. Here they
yeah,
are. Great. Now come back to us with your point of differentiation and your point of view. That's really key as well, right? Having a point of view and going, oh, but we've got all these use cases and we can solve all these problems. It's like, I get that you can, but give me a point of view on employee engagement. Give me a point of view on customer retention. So that point of view is, well,
yeah.
here's how we deliver that. Here's how we provide that. And that's value. And it's relevant to that particular segment as well. Because then I'm not going to expect, or that partner's then not going to go, oh, now if I go and speak to, a large retailer, it's going to be the same because it's not.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
different.
Got
So
you. I'm
yeah.
going to put you on the spot now because we're very much talking about partners, right? So I'm going to put the vendor on the spot here, and I'm going to go because I think as much as the partner needs to determine or position themselves to be relevant and valuable, how do you position your relevance and value to partners?
Oh, I like that. So it's a really good question. So the way that I look at how we can provide that relevance and value is by giving them insight to the challenges that we have, right? And then going,
Okay.
okay, I understand what our sales team is challenged with every single day of the week, right? So I have very
Yeah.
intimate knowledge around what's going on within a particular segment. Actually, across our ANZ business as a whole, right? So then the the best relevance and value that I can provide our partners is providing them with a couple of things. One, here's the challenges that we have. Here's the data points that prove that as well. So that way, when I'm asking a partner to please provide something back to me, with like a go-to-market approach or something that shows demonstrated value,
Yeah.
it's not just made up. It's not a,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, maybe we should go to market with generative AI. Why
Yes.
is that relevant to this particular cohort of customers? Probably not.
That's
It's probably more relevant over in the enterprise segment at the moment, but it's going to be relevant anywhere. But that's the thing, is me providing that information back to them and then coaching them around what does that look like from our side, right? So there's
yeah.
two angles. There's one, how you then communicate that to your customers, and then your other customer, however, is us. And how you communicate to us is very different to the way that you communicate with your customers.
I love
So
that. I love that. That's so
no,
real because there is a language, but there's also a particular focus. And I think what you kind of are saying is like, I'm going to give you the code to the safe, okay, but you've still got to remember the code. You've still got to make sure that you put the right sequence together, and you've got to open that particular safe, right?
100%.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah. So I'm going to give you all the keys. I'm going to give you the codes. I'm going to give you
yeah,
everything. I'm just going to I'm going to give you the door to the gate, right?
Yeah,
And if you want
yeah.
to open that, you've just got to do this in a particular way. But as soon as you do that, and we've seen this when we coach partners in a particular way, and we go, please communicate like this, like solve problems like this, do this with this, and that's just for us, right? It's just how you communicate with us as a particular vendor. If you do
Yeah,
that, I've seen partners escalate, like
yeah.
dramatically fly.
When I think about investable partnerships, I think like to be investable in Partner Elevate, we talk about three key outcomes that
Hmm.
partners need to have a focus on. The first outcome is this, and I'd love your understanding of how this plays out. The first outcome is we talk about being decisive in the action that they take. So, how decisive can you be in taking action?
Yep.
And this is a element of I'm going to be able to sit in front of a vendor who's presenting the opportunity in front of me, and I'm going to be really quick and go, "Yep, I align. That's my target market. That's my customer. I have the skills. Let's go." Or
Yep.
no, that's not my focus. How many times do you think that decisive action is not what you see and that actually slows you down?
Oh, 99% of the time,
Mm, mm,
consistently. So I'll give you a great example, and I'll leave names out, but there's a particular partner that we've been working with, that I'm working with at the moment.
yeah,
And there's other teams that are asking them to do things. And they're like, we want to say no, but we don't know how. And I'm like, hang on a second. Let's just be really clear. It's not something that you want to do. There's no value in doing what you're
yeah,
being asked to do, but you're
mm,
continuing to do it because XYZ person has
yeah,
asked you to do this thing. My first question is, where's the data to back this up, for one thing? Like,
yeah,
prove to me that like your default answer should be no. And the default answer of being no is because A, does it provide any sort of differentiation for us? Where's the value?
mm,
And where's the data to back this up? So for vendors asking you to do X, Y, Z, say,
yeah,
well, that's fine, but I'd love to see an ROI on that. Can you show me the commercial construct around why I need to be doing this? Because at the
mm,
moment, if it doesn't fit within your value prop or your differentiation or your product set or your practices, you have to
mm.
ask serious questions.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see that all the time.
Look, why do you think people don't say no? Why do you think partners don't say no? I'll give an example from my days at Microsoft
Yeah.
and how I pinpointed. I actually pinpointed that they wouldn't say no to me when I asked them to do something or put an opportunity forward because I think that they feared if they said no to me, I would never ask them again. I would go,
Correct.
no, no, you're like you said no to me last time, so I'm not going to bring an opportunity to you. I'm not going to talk to you about what I'm thinking. Is that valid? I mean, is that
100% it is. It's the outcome of that is not valid, but the
yeah, yeah,
fear
yeah,
is valid, right? Absolutely.
yeah,
I had the exact same question. It's like, well, why aren't you saying no? It's like, oh, because we don't want to say no because we don't want to be seen as that partner that says no. I was like,
says
well, don't be
no.
the partner that says yes all the time, because what are you
Yeah,
delivering? Like, how are you going to
yeah,
deliver that? Like, what's the outcome here for you guys as a
yeah,
business? Is it actually going to grow your business and make you more profitable? No.
yeah.
So don't.
Yeah, and this is where it comes to the second part. So the first part about being an investable partner in terms of an outcome is always, you've got to be able to take decisive action, and there's a whole bunch of
Mm,
things you need to do within your business to be able to do that. The second part that kind of goes to what you just spoke about is, well, actually, I need some predictability about my business to be able to make these decisions. And the
hmm.
predictability is more on the operational side of how I run my business. And what we typically see is that there are a lot of the technically focused partner ecosystem in channel is very technical heavy. Business doesn't come naturally. And a lot of the time, they spin in 150 different plates, partner leadership teams and management teams. So it's really hard for them to make those types of types of decisions, because it's like, well, I don't really know, but I'm going to do this because it feels right. But what I'm hearing from you is actually we want you to say no as a vendor, and we want you to just give us a clearer focus for where you are best situated, so we can get you in to those types of
Correct.
opportunities with customers. Is that right?
That's 100%. Absolutely. I would much rather a partner be flat out and go, that's not in our wheelhouse, or
Mm,
that's not something we're focused on right now. So no. We are focused over here, and we've got clear differentiation. We're very, very good at what we do over here. And don't be afraid to say no as well. I would much rather a partner say no than say yes and be overloaded with a whole bunch of stuff that they're doing that isn't actually providing any value to them, as you know, in terms of A, the partnership, or B, their profit, or just taking them away from doing other things that they should be focused on. um,
yeah.
and B, it's just too much stuff, and they just don't deliver anything at that point, or it's not delivered well. So yeah, I agree with you. I think being decisive, you are perfectly able, and please say no if there is something that's being asked of you that doesn't make sense, or question it at the very least and say why.
Yeah.
Like, and then come back to it and say, you want me to invest X amount of my time to do X, Y, Z. Why?
Mm,
It's as
yeah.
simple as
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, get more
And
data.
and 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 really, that is not something you as a vendor can help with, right? So you can't really help with that decisiveness. That's
No,
something that actually has to come from within the particular partner. And I think that there's a lot
always.
that partners need to be able to unpack themselves and get clear on before they can be decisive. So we covered decisiveness, we covered predictability around the way they operate the business. The third thing, when we think about investable businesses or investable partnerships, is this thing around, we probably touched on it around the relevance side, but um, how do, what's your advice or guidance for partners where, Amazon, global vendor, industry focus, you're in this quarterly cycle, this annual plan, you're delivering a massive amount of revenue with the results that you just released now. You're going
Yep.
to change tax, right? You're going to change industry focus. You're going to change product focus or segment focus. Um, what do you think partners need to be good at to be able to follow the bouncing ball with you? What should they actually be focused on to make sure that they are
hmm
in a cadence with you guys?
Yeah, it's a really good one. You hit the nail on the head. Regular cadence is key. So staying very, very close to the relationships that you build, right? Relationships are key for a particular, like particularly for us, but understanding who to have a relationship with as well. So the account team's definitely great group of people to have relationships with, but your partner management team, and if you've got it, partner sales team, because they're the ones that are really, really close to whatever's going on inside the business. And then having the ability to not flip and change what you're doing, because you need to stay relevant to your own business and things like that. But that relevance aspect is really key. So if you know that, you know, yes, we are, going down the industry lens, for example, then come out to us with industry focused solutions or industry artifacts that suggest, well, we focused in these industries, and these are our touch points. These are how our products and capabilities align to those particular industries. So there's the relevance aspect to it.
Yeah.
And then the segments as well. So being very, very close, to whatever the vendor that you're aligned to is working on. So yeah, I always say maintain relationships ultimately.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. So we're coming to the end of our first podcast, and it's kind of, I think it's gone okay. How do you feel?
Mate, it's been fun. It's been fun. I can't believe it's gone so
Bes-
fast, to be honest.
besides the sirens, they were they were in the background there. So yeah, hey, we'll be known for the first podcast where we brought some emergency services. But there's one thing I
That's
wanted
it.
to kind of end on when I think about Investible Partnerships, how do you, in your role, I think driving partner impact is every
Mhm.
partnership leader's kind of, it's that goal. It's like, how do
Absolutely.
I stop battling for success and how do I drive more partner impact? So, what do you do to in your role in your job? What do you do to drive more partner impact?
Wow. Oftentimes, I actually feel like Cupid a lot of the times where you're doing a bit of matchmaking and a bit of relationship building and stuff like that. So there
Yeah,
is a lot of that where you're building those relationships, but it continues to come down to that relevance thing. So I want as I said before, like I've got intimate knowledge around, and we all do, right? Within our, my colleagues, for example, will have intimate knowledge around certain parts of our ANZ business or, our global business as a whole.
yeah,
I want to make sure that the way that I'm driving impact and the way that I want our partners to drive impact is use the information that we provide you, right? So if I'm telling you that we've got these type of challenges, these 4 key challenges within this particular segment, use that, come back to us with, here's how we're helping customers do that. But I'm also then going, how do I help from a sales maturity perspective inside our partners? Because as you said before, a lot of them are very, very tech heavy. So helping them maturize their sales process and their sales vernacular to be able to then have, great conversations with us, but even better conversations with their customers. Because I also want these partners to growth, like build themselves as a growth engine, absolutely be profitable, and have, great relationships with not just us but with any vendor that they have as well. So I want them to succeed desperately. I want them to grow. We can help you in certain aspects of that, but to your point, a lot of the time you actually have to take that first step as well to, go through that motion. So but we're
uh,
here to help.
oh, lovely. Okay, so you're here to help. So for the audience, if they're in the ANZ region, how do they get hold of you?
Best way is on LinkedIn. Absolutely. Look me up on LinkedIn. Kelly Griffin. You'll see me on there. It's from AWS. Absolutely here to help anytime, in any way that we possibly can.
Okay, excellent. Kelly, thank you so much. I'm so appreciative for you to come on the first show. So when we hit the milestones of 1, 10, 50, 100, 1,000, we can always say at least we did one decent show.
Mate, we kicked it off, mate. It's been an absolute privilege, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, man. All the best. Thanks very much, man. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Investible Partnerships. Subscribe wherever you listen and visit investablepartnerships.com for the transcripts of today's show.